ESPN has been exposed for keeping the Big 12 in the dark. Houston, BYU, even Texas Tech. And when's the last time you heard them say Texas Tech and they're in the playoff? They've been exposed. And this is good. This is Locked On Big 12.
You are Locked On Big 12, your daily podcast on the Big 12 Conference. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome into Locked On Big 12. I'm Drake Toll from America's #1 Big 12 podcast, Locked On Big 12. Thank you for making this show your first listen every single day. That's Cameron Stewart, Locked On Baylor, who joins once a week, not really to talk about the Bears. A little bit. We'll get into that. But mostly because he is nominally funny and brings an interesting perspective to the show, you know, as the he looks like every other talking head on TV, except he wears a hat. ESPN's exposed for keeping the Big 12 hidden and their SEC bias. And this is good. Finally, we have even more evidence that can, it's like if we knew that Bigfoot was real. And just we were getting pictures day in and day out of Bigfoot, but now he's in the room with us. He officially is in the room with us. ESPN has unlocked Pandora's box. Then Kyle Whittingham gutting the Big 12. I'm calling it Whittingham's revenge. That's what they would have called it in like 1864 as he marches on Lexington. Whittingham's revenge.
We're close.
It's not good.
We're combining a lot of things there.
Yeah, we are. Then Baylor signed an NBA player. And it was the talk of the town for like 48 hours, and everybody gave up on it. But now that there are more NBA players who want to play in college, we are back. And Baylor may be exonerated. If you hit subscribe, we get to keep our jobs. This is awesome, man. Did you know? Can I read some things for you?
Good, because I don't know how to. So this is huge for me.
The Glee star. What was the Glee star's name?
Leah Michelle?
Yeah, can't read. Her and Floyd Money Mayweather and Cameron Stewart. What a trio.
That's a big three right there.
This is an anecdote. I realized recently I don't tell enough stories on this show, so lend me your ears for 30 seconds. For Halloween, my girlfriend wanted to be the Three Blind Mice. We were all doing Shrek. Girls want to do the deals with their friends where they do Shrek characters or different. They like, oh, my friends are all dressing up as Wicked. We did Shrek. So her and I were the Three Blind Mice, just two of us. Yeah. So people were like, "Where's the third one?" No, they couldn't make it. And then the first bar we go to, Bay Street Blues. Woman goes, "Are you a blind person?" I was like, "Oh no, I'm not." And before I could respond, she goes, "My daughter's blind." Oh. Just take the glasses off. Just put the cane away.
You got to do the meme, hand on the shoulder.
It's not good,
brother. I'm as blind as Stevie Wonder.
And as bad as that is, it's not worse than what's happening right now from ESPN to the Big 12. BYU, this is from Gambling Gouches. I brought it up yesterday. I want to bring it up with you. BYU, we're not playing a top 4 team this year. We're not playing Texas Tech. 12-0, 3-0 versus ranked opponents, 4-0 versus teams with 9+ wins, 6-0 versus teams with 8+ wins. But I turned on ESPN yesterday. Booker McFarland tells me that LJ Martin's the player of the game. Key to the game. He had his shoulder ripped apart by doctors 6 days ago. Then ESPN's like, man, we love McKay Hillstead, what he's done this year running the football. He's run the ball 4 times.
But they love it, though. They love it.
They do. Multiple times where it was awesome. It's like a broken record of, we're going to have to bring in our rules analyst, Matt Austin, for this one. And they bring in Matt Austin, and Matt would go, yeah, BYU is getting screwed on this one. Absolutely. This is a terrible call. Awesome. Great.
We're going to have to bring in our roster expert.
Then you turn on the Houston game, and it's the Lane Kiffin show. We got LSU playing today against some high school team. All right, Lane Kiffin's in the booth, everybody. Welcome, Lane. And they missed a whole Houston touchdown because of it. You would have thought Houston wasn't even in the game. This was more about 2026 LSU than anything else. ESPN just told you on Saturday, if you watch college football at all in front of God and everybody, we don't care about the Big 12. And I think it's time we just cut ties with them, go to TNT and say, TNT, put your cojones on the table and let's strike a deal. Because those 4 letters and from a Big 12 standpoint, I give up.
And it should be going both ways with TNT of like, hey, you prop us up and we will do everything to prop you up. Like we need TNT as a voice. We need Ted Turner's network as a voice in college football because they do a great job, by the way. I know you watched like pretty much all the football broadcasts, but even in basketball too, man, they're doing a great job with this coverage. It's worse than ESPN not caring about the Big 12 because that would be one thing. But what we saw on Saturday, which is not too much of a surprise, is they're actively against the Big 12. Like they were in the playoff selection committee, obviously, as we talked about ad nauseum. They don't even mention BYU in that show. And then this, it's like, Houston touchdown. But Lane, tell us about taking the grocery cart home. Yep. Because you're getting paid $91 million. Is that a little crazy? Look at this zany guy, and you're still doing the yoga, huh? Yeah, they are actively against it. If you're not drinking 12 beers with me, you are drinking 12 beers against me. And that is what is happening against the Big 12.
Where does BYU fit into that analogy, by the way?
Well, if you aren't drinking 12, well, no free ads.
Cookies and cream, chocolate milks.
They can do sports drinks, right?
They can do sports drinks, yes.
Yeah. No soda, no coffee, no.
Yes, soda. You are part of the problem.
Yep.
You are.
I just do this to get the people riled up. I just want to get them riled up.
The biggest thing in Utah, they can do the soda.
It's only for my ratings.
They just want. So the message I would have for the world, because the world is listening, Houston, Arizona, BYU, Texas Tech. Like, give me a good reason these teams shouldn't be ranked preseason next year. That's what happened this year. Is ESPN and the AP and everybody are like, I don't know. They lost their quarterback.
Well, they'll say Utah, they lost their coach. I mean, so did LSU, but they'll say, Utah doesn't have their coach anymore. Or BYU they lost to Texas Tech twice. Okay, and they beat another ranked team right afterwards. You know what I mean? Right. That's what they'll do. I'm just telling you what they'll do. And it's funny, whenever I talk about this, like on my show on Locked On Baylor separately about how the ESPN's so against the Big 12, I'll get people commenting like, well, what are they going to do for Baylor anyway? And this is why it's so important for the whole Big 12, because you're next.
Yeah.
Okay, we tout this league of parity, and every year it's somebody new. Like, you're next. Baylor or TCU or Houston is a great example right now.
Baylor.
West Virginia, you're next. Scrubby little West Virginia. Iowa State, you are next. Just watch.
By the way,
come for you too.
A lot of West Virginia fans listen to this show. He's not calling you Scrubby.
Jim Rome is.
ESPN will call you Scrubby. And Jim Rome may call
you that.
Your alma mater Scrubby as well. That was before they were good. That was back when Ann Richards brokered them to the Big 12. It's a wild story for another time. Kyle Whittingham, Witt's revenge is upon us. Locked On Big 12, Locked On Baylor. Men, arise. Get up. It's time to talk about Rugiet. Hop on in this action, man. What do you like most about Rugiet?
Oh, man. It has me ready to go quickly and for a long time. Let me tell you that. Something we need to talk about more.
Long time. 15 minutes under your tongue. Bam. You're up and ready to go. I
lose things under my tongue for 15 minutes. Like, that's easy money for me. That's a day at the office.
It tastes like a mint, too. And then after that mint's gone, you're like, whoa. Different kind of mint, buddy. Next generation prescription treatment created to support both the brain and certainly the body. We'll connect you to the board certified doctor online. Everything ships discreetly to your door. RUGIET.com/LockedOnCollege to get 15% off. Effects can last up to 36 hours. Let me tell you, I've tried Rugiet to see what would happen. Hour 34, I was glowing. I was floating. I was above the ground thinking, I hope it never ends. And then once it does, bam. There's another Rugiet pill right there ready for me. Even if you're thinking, I don't know if I need all that. Like RUGIET. I don't know if I need Rugiet, dude. You're about to find out. For 15% off, no doubt.
You don't need $1 million, but it comes in handy.
Once you have it.
Pretty good.
Hour 34 of that $1 million. You're like, wow. Glad I have this $1 million. RUGIET. Rugiet.com, Locked On College. Rugiet. Whittingham's revenge. It's 1863, the Battle of Manassas Creek. And here comes General Kyle Whittingham of the Confederate Army, might I add. And then in the middle of this, General Lee comes to him and says, hey, remember that time you told me you didn't really want to be the general anymore at Manassas? Yeah, well, you're done. And Witt's like, no, I can still general. I'm good. We got this. Nope. Lee says, I'm not having any of that mess around here. Not around these Civil War parts. Get on. And you know what Whittingham does? He goes up to Ulysses S. Grant, to the bigger, to the better, to the stronger, to the more, to the railroad army, and says, I want in. And Grant says, hell yeah, man. Dudes rock. And Whittingham goes out there. He steals all the Confederate generals he wants. And they said, we're going to fight to end slavery. Now, will I get a call from my boss about this analogy? Probably.
Yes.
Absolutely. Almost assuredly, actually.
Yes.
But it's spot on. And I want you to separate Big 12 coordinators and coaches from the Confederacy now for the rest of the segment.
Art from the artist, please.
I'm not comparing the Big 12 coaches that Whittingham will poach to Confederate generals or commanders or any of that. The great exodus is coming of Big 12 coaches, specifically in the Beehive State, that will make their trek from Utah to Michigan. Jay Hill. It'd be the ones you love the most, right? That just you get stabbed in the back and you think that sucks. Jay Hill, it sounds like, and by the time this drops, probably is already gone to.
Yeah, I had a whole pitch ready for Michigan defensive coordinator Dave Aranda.
You were ready. You were on top of that too. Can you
ready for it, man?
30-second elevator pitch here of it.
You know what it is? Good defensive coordinator in the past. Successful in the Big Ten, brother. Yeah. 2 top 10 defenses in the country when he was coaching in the Big Ten. And get this, you're not going to believe this. Kyle Whittingham spoken glowingly about Dave Aranda in the past.
Has he really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And from a Dave Aranda standpoint, like, probably a good time, man. You can still make some good money at Michigan. Start over, be a defensive coordinator again, get you back in the head coaching job at some other point in, 5 or 6 years. And then you've got the answers to the test. You don't have to deal with this situation because this situation that's bad at Baylor right now, believe it or not, actually goes beyond Dave Aranda. He's the worst part of it, but it does go beyond him. So I would think it would be a great idea.
The former athletic director was getting slick.
Didn't help. He was getting a little too much. Get a little too much of something.
A lot of things.
Too much rougette in his life, that's for sure.
Oh, there it is.
And that did not help Baylor at all. So all I'm saying is for both sides, it looks great. Looks great. And you look at it from the Michigan standpoint, you see the success with Wisconsin in the Big Ten, national championship ring as defensive coordinator. And Michigan's looking at it like, ooh, man, this guy's got enough pull to bring a head coach from a Power 4 to be his coordinator. That's pretty big pull. Maybe we made the right choice here. Maybe it wasn't the situation where we were all asking for Kenny Dillingham and the Michigan AD is just hard of hearing and hired Kyle Whittingham instead.
We're recording this at 12:42 Eastern time on December 28th. You're going to need to post this segment at like 12:48 Eastern time, December 28th, for it to still be relevant before Jay
Hill's been hired for 21 hours by the time you're listening to this.
He may have, while we're recording, been hired at Michigan officially. This, and that's not where it stops either. What I think is so interesting is I find it incredible. I need a pronunciation guide for pretty much people are already posting who the BYU defensive coordinator might be next. We get right there like, pronunciation guide. Here we come. There's another.
It took a long time and I watched Navy a lot as a kid. It took me a long time for Niamanalolo. That's a tough one.
Yeah. No doubt. There we go. Report: Jay Hill is leaving BYU to become Michigan's defensive coordinator under Kyle Whittingham. Desert News Sports.
I'm still titling this as Michigan hiring Dave Aranda.
Should Dave Aranda? So, that gives
backs coach
the final 3 minutes of the segment. Wow. Already Kyle Whittingham is dipping into BYU and taking its coordinators. I think
see, here's the thing. One last thing here. If I'm looking at it from Michigan's standpoint, after why are
you still on the Dave Aranda thing?
I am. One last thing. Why the head coach just got fired, right? I'm thinking bring in Dave Aranda, good God-fearing man. He's not going to get into that trouble. You dip into the BYU pool, who knows? Who knows what kind of scandal you're bringing to your program? I'm just saying, what kind of extramarital scandal is coming to your program with BYU? I mean, it's like the modern day Miami.
You best have that Diet Coke stock ready to go. It better be intensely packed when Jay Hill gets there. So I do think Devin Dampier, Jason Beck, there are a list of Utah assistants that will likely go. Mark Harlan's kind of, in a polite way, an idiot. Can I go there? Can I say that?
I'm fine with it.
Maybe not overall as a human being, but in this instance of whatever, get out of my face. That's how I view this. As he tells Kyle Whittingham, whatever, get out of my face.
Fine.
And then Whittingham says, okay. This is, oh no. The Nokia CEO looks at the CFO and is like, just go, leave. I'm done with this. And immediately gets hired at Apple as the CFO. Like, oh, shoot. That's not good. And takes half of Nokia with him. This isn't good. I think if you're the CEO of Utah football, if you're Mark Harlan, probably didn't want this to happen.
Probably not. Probably not. He's too busy trying to leave the Big 12 still. But it feels unprecedented, of like that exact scenario you just laid out. Like they're pushing him out the door. And Utah is a good football program, and it's a good football coaching job. Okay. No one should get offended when we say this. It's not Michigan. There's no job in the Big 12 that has the prestige of Michigan. That doesn't mean we don't have good jobs here in the Big 12, but that's a different ballpark, right? I know I'm saying it on Locked On Big 12, not my best career move. So you're thinking when you're pushing the old guy out, it's not running across your brain that he's going there. So you add the Nokia thing. Like, how about the Nokia CFO is 66 years old? Okay. He's still like, man, I'm still in on the flip phone thing. And then he goes to Apple. That's crazy. Like, this is a guy that Utah is more or less forced out. And I think that's becoming more apparent by the fact that he's taking the Michigan job that he didn't really want to go. And he takes a top 5 job in college football. That's crazy. Like, I don't think we've ever really seen that for a guy who was at the edge of his career. And that says something about Whittingham and Utah, but also says something about the Michigan job that they couldn't just get Kenny Dillingham. You know what I mean? But this is like kind of nuts.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, I don't think Dillingham was bringing Jay Hill with him.
That he could have brought Dave Aranda.
The only thing here, the former CFO at Apple did hold a butter knife to his neck as he threatened his mistress, allegedly. And so that's another piece of this that maybe you need the flip phone guy. Maybe you need.
Let's get back to the basics. Run the damn ball.
The Kyocera guy to come in and be like, I've never seen these touch screens. Coming up, Baylor signed an NBA player. Everyone cared for like a day, and then it went away until it came back. Locked on Big 12. Today's show is brought to you by FanDuel. Speaking of the NBA, FanDuel has happy hour. Now, BYU fans, before you freak out, I mean, you wouldn't freak out, but before you think, I'm out on this, actually, I don't know how that works because we are talking about betting. Bear with me. You can give me your take. Every Friday night before the games tip off, the NBA does happy hour. NBA Happy Hour Fridays, 6 to 7:30 Eastern, have become appointment viewing with NBA. So before tip-off, check out the FanDuel app. See what's dropping during NBA Happy Hour every Friday, 6 to 7:30 Eastern. A little basketball, a little action, whole lot of Friday energy. That's NBA Happy Hour only on FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NBA is FanDuel. Cutting out the happy hour part there for BYU, and then I realized it was a betting read. Like,
I'm doing FanDuel right now.
Not sure what we can. Yeah, I gotta put those in before the games start. The Baylor Bears signed an NBA player. People forget, the streets forget, BYU did this like 4 weeks prior to Baylor doing it. And the difference in what we've heard so far is, well, they weren't really NBA players. They were draft picks who played in the G League, and that's not really the NBA. And so may I remind you, are you ready for something crazy? Do you want to hear something crazy?
Yes.
The original one of these came from Brandon Whedon. That's a big example. Played minor league baseball in the Yankees organization, comes back to play college football. Nobody freaked out then.
It's happened a couple times in football like that with the minor league baseball and
punters, all kinds of like professionals from Australia come over.
John Elway did it, I think.
That sounds possibly correct. Yeah. And so G League guys come in. If we're thinking of the individual, this is a very good thing for these guys. They can rejuvenate their basketball career, make money off of it. And some of them are still 21, 20 years old. Like, we're bringing back what college basketball was 10 years ago and having veteran players, which is a lack of there's a lack of that presence amongst the greats in our sport now, because
veteran.
Sure, they have
probably played their first college basketball game.
Right, they played less basketball than LJ Cryer, who was in college for 5 or 6 years. Taman Lipsey, who seems like he's been here forever. Blake Bell, the Belldozer, who played at Oklahoma for 9 years. The one guard at Kansas, that was at Kansas for 11 years. Remember him?
I think you're thinking of Perry Ellis.
Perry Ellis, he was bald when he got there. He was balding when he got there. This is and then Tom Izzo was like, I'll call Scott Drew. I'll spank him. Did you see that comment?
Yeah.
I'll call Scott and see what's going on down there.
I'll see what's happening.
Now there are actual NBA players that played this season in the NBA that want to come back and play college basketball, and based on the parameters we have, they can. That's probably too far. Yes. I'll give it to you. That's probably too far. Something needs to be done.
Yeah. So I've said on the show, like, I don't love the idea of this move that Baylor made with James Najee. Like, is it great for Baylor? Absolutely it is. Like, that's a position they totally need. And he fits the bill of pretty much exactly what they need right now. And it's legal. I was trying to think of an analogy for it. And the best thing I could think of is like the bail system, the bond system. You know, you can pay your way out of jail, even if you're for a while, even if you're like totally guilty. Who are we mad at? The guy who hit and run and pays his way out of jail? Or are we mad at the system for allowing that to be possible? You know, Tom Izzo in this rant is like, you know, shame on the NCAA, shame on them for letting this happen. And then in the same breath goes, and shame on the coaches. It's like, well, like, this is sports though. Like, everyone's looking for any advantage possible. This is not cheating. It's just not a good rule. Like, it's just terrible. You know what I mean? It's like, you know, and there's so many other sports examples we could use. But I said when it initially happened, this is going to be a slippery slope, you know, because this is a guy who did not sign the NBA contract, did not play an NBA game outside of the summer league. And everything else, you know, with his professional time in Europe is, in the last couple of years, you've been able to do that. You've brought in professionals from Europe to go in and play in the NCAA. That was not crazy because they didn't play. They weren't guarding Victor Wembanyama in summer league games, which we have James Najee doing. But as I said, like, when it first happened, I was like, well, then you're going to get guys who just didn't like their draft position. They're going to get drafted 37th. And they're going to be like, well, I can go back and be a top 15. I can be a lottery. So I'm going to go back, you know, or guys who have literally played in the association this year get to suddenly go back to college. Like, that doesn't make any sense in really any sport. And I know people were talking about, you know, in hockey and baseball, you can be drafted and then go and play college. But like, if you're a baseball player that gets drafted out of high school and decide to play college instead, you don't play spring training with the Mets and then go and play for Clemson a couple weeks later. Like, that's not allowed. That does not happen. You know what I mean? And like, Brandon Whedon was playing minor league baseball and then played college football. Quan Cosby at Texas did the same thing. It's like, you're not playing the same sport professionally. It's not even so much the idea that they played professionally, because we already had that in place. And when you play in college now, you get paid too. It's the fact that they played at the highest level. Like at that point, you need to make a decision at that point. And Tom Izzo was talking about what it means for the kids on the team right now and taking their spot. But I do want to question what it means for the player, for the James Najee, of a guy who's trying to, make it to the NBA, and he's basically already there and decides, my best option is to actually go back to college after my best option before that was playing in Europe. And it's like, man, we're like stunting the growth of these kids by giving them almost too many options. Like he's 21. You were playing in the summer league for a couple of years. At that point, man, if it's not there, it's not there. Play in the G League.
No.
But instead, he just worked out for a couple of months, and now he's going to play in the NCAA, and he's far from the last one. There are going to be guys who played in NBA games this year who could be eligible to play college basketball next week. That's nuts. We've got to draw a line somewhere. And it's kind of this effect of NIL and transfer portal. It kind of opened the floodgates for all of this. And we just didn't draw enough lines as college athletics. We didn't draw enough lines. And what is that going to happen in football too? Are guys going to not make a NFL team out of training camp and go back for one more year, or be on a practice squad in September and be playing for Oklahoma in November? Like it really kind of opens up a Pandora's box here.
Phillip Rivers, grandpa quarterback, the Baylor Bears.
Got something left in him.
The Baylor Bears. This.
Who says no?
It's so brutal because we've never had an issue with Yegor Demon, or these types who play in Europe and who get paid for to play at some professional level. That's never been a problem. It's just so distant. It's not close to us. We don't see it. It's not in our face. We don't consider it the NBA. Right. Now, when those three letters are involved, it becomes a serious issue. And maybe. I don't know what to do. Because I've never had a problem with the European professionals. They come over, they play for Baylor, and I'm like, yeah, great. Ha Jeremy Sohan, yeah. He was really fun at parties. Yeah. Loved the ladies. He loved the ladies. He was really good to them. He was. Spurs are good now, too.
LL Cool JS.
Sans Jeremy Sohan. It hasn't really been.
Yeah, it's been a huge part of it, yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's weird,
but it does kind of highlight that we should have cared. We should have cared about that, and we didn't. I didn't. These European guys who are playing professional. This guy, Najee has played 7 years of professional basketball. 7, and 2 or 3 trips in the summer league. Like that's too much. That is too much, and so it becomes. And the other group of players that it hurts is the high school player that's not a top 40 player in the nation.
Yeah.
What is their route? Do they now need to go play in Europe and hone their skills? And maybe that's it. And maybe that's what it becomes. I talk about hockey a lot. Like that's where a lot of the college players are playing juniors before they play college. So maybe that's the route that it ends up being. I don't think that's good for college basketball. I don't think that's good for basketball in America, which is ultimately what we care about. So, but maybe we should have cared about the European stuff before. And now here it is. It's in our face. NBA players are going back to college, man. Oh, it used to be just Snoop Dogg and Wiz Khalifa going back to high school, and now we got this.
J.R. Smith.
Dude, can he play? Can he hoop?
I'll start with J.R. Smith. I think he ran out of college eligibility because of golf.
Because he was golfing? Yeah.
Because of golf. He can't play basketball in college.
That's honestly a sicker way to do it. That's so much cooler.
Yeah, it's pretty dope.
Somebody doesn't even play golf, but just like, yeah, I'm going to golf for a college team after my NBA career. It's so good.
Win a ring with the Cavs and then go play college golf at
North
Carolina A&T.
Yeah, the A&T.
That's Cameron Stewart of Locked On Baylor. This has been It Always Will Be Locked On. Thanks for making it your first listen every single day. It's crossover with Baylor and Dose Grande.